Welcome to 99th Monkey Liberty News for Friday, December 13th, 2013. Yeah, you heard it right. It's Friday the 13th, but we have faith in God, and that doesn't really mean anything, does it? Well, it might mean something, but it doesn't. It's not something that we need to fear. Here from the Daily Sheeple, Dan Bongino files for divorce. And I actually saw this on Facebook yesterday. It's kind of fun. An open letter to the establishment GOP. And of course, Dan Bongino is running for Congress. And there's a little video here, which is interesting to watch. And he does need support because obviously Dan obviously isn't counting on the establishment for support. He's counting on people like you and me. Make sure you visit his website, like him on Facebook, give until it hurts. I'm not advocating that necessarily, but the person who wrote this is. Share this with your friends. So far, he looks like a guy we need in Washington, D.C., working for the conservative cause. Of course, appearances can be deceptive, but this guy does appear to be the real deal at this point. And he used to be in the Secret Service, and he has been a whistleblower to a degree. He doesn't tell everything because he has made agreements that he wouldn't, but he seems to be a man of integrity at this point. So, and he is divorcing the GOP, so that definitely seems like something that would be a good thing to do. Here from Natural News, acid reflux drugs may cause dementia and neuropathy. And I know of a very simple alternative to those drugs, and I have used this with success. Honey and acid reflux. Honey is one natural folk remedy for the symptoms associated with acid reflux. And you just take a spoonful of honey, and I think it coats your esophagus. And I have found relief from acid reflux by using honey. And I'm not a major sufferer, so I can't really say if it helps long term, but from time to time when I've had acid reflux, it has helped me tremendously. And this is a short video. Our old buddy Ross Perot reminds us about the previous giant sucking sound that was NAFTA and warns us about the next, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And the title of this video on YouTube is No Fast Track on Trans-Pacific Partnership, Job Killer. And here from True Activist is an article, Nestle CEO, water is not a human right, should be privatized. There's actually a curse in the Bible that when people are evil, one of the curses that will come upon them is that they will have to pay for their water. And not only do we have to pay for water from cities where we live, the Nestle CEO wants us to always pay for water. It is not a human right. Wow, tell that to the rain. And yesterday, Fritz Springmeier was a guest on a blog talk called Weekend Vigilante. And I listened to most of this until I was loading something and my Flash plugin crashed, as you can see from all of my video references if you're watching this video instead of listening to the podcast. I just want to mention a couple things that Fritz said, a couple quotes. One thing that he said is the best cover for someone in the Illuminati is a Christian ministry. And Fritz said he knew a guy who actually was serving as a minister and was living such a double life by mind control and personality disorder that he had multiple personalities. that he was not aware that he was going to satanic services on Friday night. He only was aware that he was preaching on Sunday morning. So he was completely living this double life. And I bring that up because it's just as a reminder of, as we're choosing who we're going to trust and finding people in our lives that we want to walk with and share with, I believe we need to use very sharp discernment and constantly ask God what's going on. And if we begin to see something in a friend's life that we can't explain, it's something that seems incongruous, it's, we should always listen to our gut, always listen to that little voice that's, bugs us sometimes when we like the person and says, something's wrong, something's wrong. And one other thing that Fritz said is that the number one goal of the Illuminati is the destruction of Christianity. And that just makes perfect sense in the context of knowing that the real enemy is the devil. And he's moving through these people and through these power structures and these world systems. And the goal is to eliminate faith in Christ. And of course, the reason for that is because the person who stands against them is God himself. And the devil has made God his enemy. And because these people follow the devil, they have also made God their enemy. And God is the one with the power to overthrow them and their plans, but God works through his people. So it's crucial for us to be in solid relationship with God and see the restoration of liberty and justice for all. Fritz mentioned this book, which was written in 1798, and because it's that old, of course, it's out of copyright and can be downloaded from archive.org. And the book is Proofs of a Conspiracy Against All the Religions and Governments of Europe, carried on in the secret meetings of Freemasons, Illuminati, and reading societies. And the author is John Robison. I have not read it yet. I just found out about it. I'm definitely going to download it and add it to my reader. And I'm sure there's tremendous information there. And RT reports today that final countdown, Ireland nears landmark ending of EU Lifeline. And at first blush, that seems like a positive thing, but I'm not absolutely sure. Zero Hedge has this article: Ireland exits Troika bailout to prepare for bail-ins. Nothing's changed, and don't believe everything that you're told. So certainly we can pray for Ireland and hope for the best, hope that they would trod the path that Iceland has taken. I think this is a good time in history to just pray for breakthroughs. And I think I've mentioned here before the analogy of, if you watch The Walking Dead, the zombies can knock down a fence not because they're smart or well-equipped or well-educated or well-prepared, but just because there are so many of them. So if we can all join together and say no to the bankers, we can overcome, just like the people of Iceland did. Moving into a different topic from the Daily Sheeple, principles, and this is principles of schools, not, these are my principles. Principles say Common Core testing makes students throw up and wet themselves. Literally, these tests are so stressful that the kids emotionally can't handle them. And here's the paragraph from which the headline is pulled. Common Core testing is apparently so emotionally and psychologically torture us. It is literally making kids puke and pee their pants to the point that at least 8 school principals are officially concerned. Well, that's nice that they're concerned. Maybe they can just put their foot down and sit in the school district and say, not to my child, not to my students. You know, where are these people are adults, and they are meant to protect children. And, you know, here again is a moment where it's appropriate to listen to our gut when we see a child react this way. Just to say something's wrong. The problem is not the child. When you see something having the same effects on many people, the problem is not the child. The problem is the testing. The problem is Common Core. So let's flush that toilet and be rid of it. Here is another article that, you just sense Agenda 21 behind some of these things. Landowner losing $36 million because the government wants to protect frogs. The priorities are so obviously out of whack. It's amazing that everybody is not awake. I mean, if it weren't for drugs and fluoride, surely this kind of issue would make people take notice and wake up. And in a related topic, something that really pushes my buttons, because living in the Bay Area, we have this organization called Spare the Air. And there are days when you can't burn. And Friday, December 13th, illegal to burn. Now, you might think that people would get a slap on the hand or something like that. And I have heard differing reports. But the other day, a caller into Alex Jones said that his friend was virtually arrested. He's supposedly just given a warning because he had a fire in his fireplace on a no-burn day. And by the way, this entire week so far, every day has been a no-burn day, and it's been very cold. And most houses in the Bay Area are not insulated all that well, so fireplace really is a significant source of heat for a lot of people. So this man who got into trouble for having a fire in his fireplace, the warning ticket was $1,400, and he was told that the next time he will go to jail. So this is just another example of how the government is interfering in people's lives, infusing us with a slave mentality like, oh no, you can't do in your own house with your own things what you want to do. Talk about, right to privacy. I mean, abortions are legal supposedly because they have to do with something that happens in your own home, but you can't have a fire in your fireplace if the government says so. And this is not even a legitimate government. This is a Bay Area, I think it's called ABAG, kind of a union of governments. And of course, I suspect that the cities have signed on and agreed with this because they probably get federal funding if they do. So again, if we can get people together and go to city councils and say, hey, I'm going to jail because I have a fire in my fireplace, and object to these things, just in the same way we object to the Common Core education. And moving into a couple of articles about the NSA. Here's from Washington's blog. The NSA's lone wolf justification for mass spying is BS. Well, I think we can all agree with that. And from End the Lie, report NSA uses Google cookies to pinpoint users for surveillance and hacking. And Firefox does have a plugin that destroys cookies, and if you watch these videos, here's one right here, Tracker's cookie. It's every time that little pop-up pops up, that means that a cookie is being deleted. So it is possible to delete cookies. That is not rocket science, and I'm guessing that because the NSA uses Google cookies to pinpoint users for surveillance and hacking, if you don't allow cookies, that probably gives you a degree of protection from that. And another natural news article, Minnesota judge dismisses phony charges against raw milk farmer Mike Hartman. So that is indeed good news. And for a little more good news, especially in the holidays when we're trying to make good choices about food, but of course we want to enjoy ourselves. Here's an article, new study confirms chocolate's fat-busting properties. Yay! I know I'm happy about that. I eat chocolate with even less guilt than I was before. And here for our final good news article from the Daily Sheeple, victory for self-defense as judge rules students can keep guns on college campuses. So, you know, there's college students, girls, certainly sometimes there is a need for someone to defend himself or herself, and they are being permitted to keep that right. Wow, you have to ask for your rights now and defend your rights, but yeah, at least this story has a happy ending. And yes, this is a happy ending. Thanks for tuning in for today's Liberty News. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And the morning always comes. Hoping that you have a great weekend coming up, that you love one another, take care, and insist on liberty.